Hello folks, something totally different today. QTX Q240 amplifier, 2-channel, and it's the amplifier I use on my living room system where we do most of the recording of gramophone records, etc. Like when we've been copying the tapes across. It lives in a rack on my desk, and right from the word go, 4 or 5 years ago when we bought this, it has been passing high tension, by the sounds of it, through to the speakers from time to time. What you have to do is go very quickly before it blows up the speakers. So I want to lend this somebody whilst an identical one comes through from the wholesaler. They're on back order till about the 12th of February. Yes, I could go and buy one retail, but then what's the point? They may as well borrow this one. And I'll use my little SA10 realistic amplifier, 2.5 watts per channel in the meantime. Now, Q240, I think it's 60 watts per channel. That's totally immaterial. It would be quite adequate if it was 3 watts per channel. But what was rack mount and what was relatively low power for the system which we have in the living room. I'm not a bit. I don't want domestic stuff anywhere, to be honest. So there we go. That's how it is. So I want to investigate what is causing the high tension to seemingly go through the speakers from time to time. Is there an insulator missing? Are there some loose screws which have caused the printed circuit board to sometimes droop onto another one? I really don't know. But it affects both channels. But it's independent. So one can play up, the other can play up, sometimes both can play up. But a quick tap and it comes back to normal. Now I can't lend that somebody in that state. We've put up with it for 4 or 5 years, but it was time to get to the bottom of it. It's quite a faff to get it out of the rack. I didn't realise that the back foots, those 2 back feet are stopping it from coming out of the rack. So I had to move equipment further up and take everything out of the rack. Real faff. So on the back of these you've got a fan and IC inlet. It's usefully got binding post 4mm. Is it speak on and 6.3mm? We use it on 6.3mm. And line in conveniently can be phono, which is actually how we use it and how I'll use it in this temporary installation for the customer. So let's see what's inside. One chip. Well, to be honest, that's better than I expected. We've got a toroidal transformer. I think it's just SRBP printed circuits, which is disappointing. But it's individual transistors and not one big chip, so that's nice. And then on the front panel, we've got the board there for, well, all it's got is LEDs and the volume controls on it. So I'm going to pop this board out because I'm absolutely convinced there's either a wire not trimmed properly, but if it's seeing as it's affecting both channels, that's what I need to just look as to what's happening. We're going to end up with a copyright strike with that. We'll just change the direction of the tape. So what I've come to the conclusion, I'll keep the volume down. When I touch the fuse holder, so it might be the opposite, it might be kind of removing power. That's what it's doing. And we get the signal like, so I think it's just a matter of switching it off and plumping up the fuse holders. I think that's all that's amiss with it. Now that side is pretty loose. Yeah. Do the same at the other side. this size tends to be better and it feels better on this fuse holder. I did take the board out and look underneath, but there was no stray wires or anything. So I'll tell you what we'll now do, and that's put all the rest of the screws in, because I've taken the 4 out which hold the board in. So we'll put the 4 back. I was wondering if it perhaps was something touching underneath, and I put the wrong screw in there. I was thinking something along the lines of a not trimmed off component leg, something like that, but it's as simple as the fuse holder. And it really sounded scary, like it was passing high tension into the speakers. So they're now tightly down. I was wondering if it wasn't that, whether to put an insulating card underneath or plump these pillars up a bit with some with a washer. Let's put it back on. That's it. Loose fuse holder. So quick amplifier fix, and now I'm happy I can lend it somebody. I'm using the usual realistic cassette player with the usual Reader's Digest tape. Good. Now I'm happy that's a complete cure. I'll take the power off because you just don't know with these things. So you've got the 3 screws at the back and 2 screws either side. So I'll come back to the video when we've put the screws in. Okay, so it's all back together, and power it back up. Change direction. And back. Yes, that's a complete cure. So it's a thing to be aware of. Fuse holders that want plumping up, and this, I said, was new. It started playing up from new. But it's the old thing. We buy, you know, being in business, we buy these things wholesale. You know, you can't be sending things backwards and forwards for stupid faults like that. And it's just been one of those things that we've just had to do that. So it looks like the high tension's been removed from the board, and it seems to then pass another voltage through those speakers. Anyway, we're done. I'm happy to lend that out now, and we'll see you with, I think we're doing a Danita CB radio at the moment, and it didn't kind of quite get finished. If it ever will get finished, see if we can do that further on today. So nothing to do with CB, but a bit more of electronics and a useful bit of knowledge for somebody who has a similar fault. Thanks for watching.